I learned all the crazy controversy that people exposed her for. And I really mean it's a lot.
I am never going to delete any of my videos.
And the extreme magnification of horrible lies.
But what I do have a problem with is when you literally start to gatekeep a culture that's not even your own from other people.
She's trying to present herself as this like educated person.
Proud Umichi hater from day one. Please.
Of herself instead. Well,
cosplay is something very, very popular on TikTok. Some videos where people cosplay gain millions and millions of views. There's one genre that a lot of people hate and some really, really like, and that is where you edit yourself into looking like some kind of porcelain doll. And one creator has gained an entire platform from just doing this, making herself look like some sort of porcelain doll. And she has hundreds of hate comments, well, let's be real, thousands of hate comments, hundreds of hate videos, and overall one of the worst responses to controversies of all time.
The malignant, intentionally made up lies being largely spread about me in order to vilify my personhood as a whole.
She is one of the only people I've ever seen have a comment under one of her TikToks telling her to you-know-what with thousands of likes. That's just something you simply don't see on the daily. And months have gone by and she still has one of the most hated responses of all time to this entire situation. So I felt like digging into it and seeing why people overall hate her so much. She's received thousands of you-know-what threats, and overall that is just not appropriate. We should not be sending threats to her. That's just weird. But we're going to be getting into the situation she's been in for the past few months.
But I'm feeling it now, and I have been.
I'm going to give a quick trigger warning for mentions of not appropriate things with younger people. And this video is probably a lot more darker and disturbing than usual videos that I create. So just fair trigger warning for all that. It's not really the most lighthearted video of all time.
Until I learned all the crazy controversy that people exposed her for.
So overall, please don't send hate to her, obviously. She's already gotten quite a few threats. It's a serious situation. I'm not defending her in any way. In fact, there's a lot of stuff she's done that I just cannot believe someone would do. So with that, let's get into the video. Remember, just don't send anything mean to her. Please be respectful in the comments. And with that, let's get into it. Speaking of someone doing something pretty bad or a lot of bad things, you have a chance to do something very, very good. Some of you know about Mustafa, the injured Palestinian I've been helping on my channel. That clip I just showed you was his house. His house is completely torn down and he has nothing left. And it's much harder for him to rebuild all of this due to the constant and he has to protect his two daughters and provide food for them. So your donation can change an entire life. Or if you can't donate, remember to spread the word on your social media or to your friends or family. Link is in description. I beg you to consider this. Remember that you can do a lot of good for one person with just a $5 donation or spreading the word. With that, let's get back into it. So Umichi is part of a community that makes these type of weird edited videos. And I don't mean weird as in bad weird. I'm just saying as in like unique, different. It's very, very strange in a way. Some people find it very creepy. It's kind of like think of an old porcelain doll. It's very, very edited and she's very open about it. Not everyone is. For example, those are two of her TikToks. You can see she shows the before and after, and there is a huge, huge difference. And she's open about that. I know that a lot of people do edit their photos. I personally kind of think that's cool to show your editing process, to present it, to not kind of hide it, set these unreal expectations. So that personally is something that made her kind of stand out, I believe, in a way on TikTok, because you got to be unique in some way. There's a lot of people doing the same style as her, but she stood out, I think, because of that. Here were Lisa QQQ's takes on it.
People just loved how she's so transparent about editing and doesn't want to put unrealistic beauty standards out there.
And it is nice because there are a lot of young girls on the app that will fall for that. They will see that and be like, oh wow, she's so beautiful. I wish I could look that way. But when they see that she edits it, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world. She can make herself look prettier, but she's open about it. She was really proud of that and she kind of spread that message around. The problem is though that she's pretty problematic at the end of the day. It doesn't just come down to this making her a good person. In my personal opinion, she's far from a good person. And her response made everything so much worse, so we'll be breaking that down at the end. And I know there's some of you that are going to be commenting, this is old, why are you talking about this? This was 2 months ago. I know that a lot of videos on her were from 2 months ago, but a lot of them didn't cover her response, which was actually pretty recently. So I feel like I should just go over the things she's accused of and then go over her response, because her response overall just sounded like ChatGPT. Maybe she's just really, really intelligent and she uses big words, but it just sounded like a ChatGPT ChatGPT script.
On second thought, I am never going to delete any of my videos. I am too cool for that. I have 2 tablets left of my mood stabilizers. I'm gonna make the full use of them so that I stop being impulsive and thinking less of myself.
So I saw a TikTok on her, and that's really what pulled me towards her account. But when I was first on her account, the first person I thought of was she kind of reminds me of Clara Dow in a way, because she really is very open about her insecurities, and she doesn't really try to look perfect or hide it. I mean, maybe not like Clara Dow. Now that I think about it, they're not really comparable, but you get the idea. They both talk about body problems they've had in the past, and I'm just not going to go too much into depth because YouTube is really strict on that type of stuff. Now, let's continue with the main problems she's been facing and the controversy she's been in. So the TikTok I found on her was this one. Realizing you defended a creator just to later discover they're problematic and racist towards their own race. And I was firstly thinking, who the heck is Umichi? Like, I've never heard of this girl before, but I found her page, and then I went down a huge rabbit hole full of a lot of really not fun stuff. We're gonna start with the lower controversy, the less controversial things she's done, which are still very controversial, and then quickly move up to the very, very, very bad stuff that she's allegedly done. Let's first off start with the kind of less, but still very bad controversy she's been in.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Like I mentioned before, Umichi is Filipino, but one of the controversies surrounding her is that allegedly she's trying to be Japanese specifically.
I can sense the comments from a mile away. Oh, wham, 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 what are you talking about? She's just respecting her culture. You're such an annoying brat. No, just listen to what I have to say first. So, basically, she's been leaked to have been like trying to pronounce American words as Japanese, and just like she kind of failed, so people were making fun of her. There's a whole hate train on TikTok about it. People would imitate her, use her voice as an audio after she did that, but it got a lot worse after this situation happened.
そうだ。はい。全然わかんない。全然わかんないです。そうだ。
椿プレミアムエクセルエアシャンプー
And I know it just seems like she's trying to respect a culture at first glance, and she just failed and kind of embarrassed herself, which I know some of us sometimes want to discover new cultures and we just kind of embarrass ourselves because we don't understand them. But it is just worse than that because she's a hypocrite. After failing to speak properly with Japanese, she would make a bunch of different comments, specifically this one saying how it's embarrassing when people try to learn Japanese and they're just embarrassing. And it got worse from there because not only did she insult people for trying to learn Japanese after she did the same exact thing, she would then make a racist comment about her own race. She would refer to her own race as inbred and just throw a bunch of insults towards it. And I found a TikTok kind of defending, well, not defending, that's a strong word, but kind of giving a background to why she'd make such a claim like this, because I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Her making comments about her own race, that just doesn't feel right.
Last year, I went to the Philippines for the first time in a very long time, and I noticed something interesting. I noticed that everywhere there were billboards for skin lightening, and that almost no one on their television was a brown-skinned Filipino.
So basically what this account that goes by Star and this woman is saying is that it's really a culture there to be, like, a lot of them want to be lighter skinned. It is kind of just something pushed at them. So it's kind of more of a massive problem involving lots of people rather than just one individual. She's not individually the only one that's pressured. And while these comments are completely unacceptable, this gives more of like a thing that a lot of people are pressured rather than her just randomly deciding, which just kind of gives more of a background and reasoning behind it, I suppose, even though once again, I completely condone those comments.
This stereotypical gym uniform is a school uniform worn by students that go to school. There is no actual point of her owning this sort of clothing.
So a video has resurfaced of her dancing around in a Japanese anime school outfit, and it's for like younger high school girls. And it gets worse than just that. Just hold your fingers. Don't comment anything right now. Just let me get into more. It's not simply just the uniform, but let me firstly explain why the whole school uniform thing is bad, and then we'll get into the more morbid details in this situation specifically.
The dance she's doing is actually from the song Loli God Requiem. The person in the video is a Mizukaki, meaning pretty lowly, which basically means a young girl who likes to tease older men who are attracted to her. Yumi knew what she was doing.
Big shout out to Lisa for gathering a bunch of this information. I kept on looking through TikToks for hours and I couldn't get down to what exactly the whole L to the N accusations were about. So I finally figured it out with this video, and we're going to get into breaking it down. So basically she recorded a video of her dancing around in a school uniform from this one anime show. And overall, once again, I don't need to explain why that's really not appropriate, because school outfits are situated genuinely with kids, and that just isn't really the most appropriate thing. I mean, sure, maybe it could have kind of been an accident. She wasn't really thinking about it, but then she starts Then it gets worse when you realize she was dancing to a song that specifically was about you know what, and I think the video I just showed you kind of breaks it down. And I think it's kind of hard to explain yourself out of this one when you literally used a song that was about you know what. It just, like, it's hard to explain that you just accidentally put on a school uniform. For those who are my loyal viewers and have watched past videos, I appreciate you firstly, and secondly, you know my take on this. I talked about the XOXO team. They're like a shorts team that has like different influencers come on. They had Kiki Kim, they had Nevada, a bunch of them, and they would always dance in school uniforms and do usually not very appropriate things. Some of it would be very, very disgusting. And I don't know why, but I guess it gets more clicks when you dress this way, but it just simply is not appropriate in my opinion. And it would continue to get worse as a screenshot would have her openly supporting you know the rest, ends with a T, and it's about a boy and a girl related to each other doing you know what. In a screenshot of the comment on Facebook, once again, she really likes that app. I don't know why, I don't have it, and I just always get memes about it being for old people, so I don't know why she likes it. But anyway, she would talk about wanting to cosplay a story where a boy and a girl commit not so good acts, specifically considering the fact that they are related.
I'm tired of being an influencer. I'm tired of everything in general. I don't know how to make significance of myself at this point, and I'm so exhausted.
After this kind of took off on TikTok, this entire controversy, well, these many controversies, people would turn on her, and it felt so wrong for someone who was so open about their struggles, about everything. I mean, it's almost like social media isn't real, and most people that pretend to care about something have completely different things. And in other words, they have a lot of skeletons behind their closet. In their closet, not behind their closet.
全然わかんないです。どうしよう。
This truly was some huge news for the unemployed, but I feel like even though these things being discussed about her were really, really bad, she always needs a chance to clear it up, maybe prove some of it wrong. Who knows? Maybe she's gonna apologize. It'll be really, really good and we can forgive her and move on. But something I've realized is when you give an influencer who's built their career off of especially short-term content a chance to apologize, they suddenly decide that they're a celebrity and we're all just peasants who would never understand or have the capability to accommodate or realize how really amazing and better than everyone they are. That's something we've seen time and time again. Obviously not directing this towards anyone. There's no one I've ever had experience with this before doing something like this. Yeah, no direct references there at all. Anyway, with that, let's continue. We might as well give her a chance with her response. It can't be that bad, can it? It can't be that condescending and jerk-like, can it? Can it? Okay, good. Let's get into it.
Hello. I will begin by saying that this will be an acknowledgement video, but not an apology video.
This is not an apology because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, I will drag the whole Clara Dua situation months later just to show that, because it is so familiar with these type of influencers. They all talk the exact same when it comes to apologizing or responding. They're not even apologizing. And I get that the claims that people are talking about and the things they have to say are not nice, and they're sending you mean comments and they're saying mean things, and I totally get that. Like, it's really, really annoying, and you want to spit in their face and be like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, you idiot, I'm not apologizing to you. But sometimes the best thing to do, even though you are mad at the people mad at you, is to apologize and admit you did some things wrong. Maybe some of the things they said weren't correct, but at the end of the day, it's probably best to just back down and apologize rather than make them even more mad, which so many people have just made the mistake of underestimating their audience.
I will acknowledge many things, but apologize for very few, because the central fact in all of this is that my case is based on the intentional distortion of ordinary truths and the extreme magnification of horrible lies.
Okay, I know some people have really, really big vocab and they just know a lot of big words, but this literally sounds like ChatGPT, and I'm not saying it is, like, for sure, because, I mean, yeah, I can't just throw that out there. People do have good vocab. Maybe I'm just brain rotted from the amount of AI I see all the time, but it just sounds like a really, really, really AI-generated script.
All to fuel an orchestrated mass of hate in such excess that no human being should ever have to experience in their lifetime.
I agree that you shouldn't receive, like, the threats you did and the comments of telling you to you-know-what were not appropriate, obviously, but, like, you're acting like these just came out of nowhere. Like, there was a reason behind why people were mad, and there's still a reason why they're mad, because this response is super stuck up for no reason.
Going on to live my life, trying to compose myself beneath moment-by-moment anxiety attacks and day-by-day harassment. I allowed for all comments to exist and thrive as they were written, just about all of which were bullying and hate speech.
One thing that annoys me is she starts the majority of the video talking about the accusation of her deleting comments, and I just feel like that isn't really really a big thing to address, because at the end of the day, TikTok deletes literally everything that people comment. You can't comment anything without it censoring it. It's a joke. Honestly, TikTok just censors literally everything. So I don't really think that's a big deal. Like, I don't care. Like, that's not my concern. If you delete comments, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, that's not really an important thing. There's a lot more things she should be covering, and she doesn't really spend as much time covering those things as she spends covering the little accusations that don't really matter.
I locked my Facebook profile, not because I was in fear of being exposed even more, but because each day for months now, people were very actively taking my videos, photos, and words posted from there so that they could blatantly impersonate me across platforms, dig for extremely personal information like my name, the names of my family, my friends, or where we live, and most apparently incriminate me by taking my posts out of their very ordinary context.
Her main argument is that these things were taken out of context, but I don't think they were taken out of context. The things you said were the things you said. You weren't just saying them for fun. I mean, how do you even explain this? I mean, how do you not know what this was talking about? You don't just randomly name a show and not have any idea what any of the characters did in the show. She kind of responded on her TikTok account too to the allegations, and again, she uses that out of context argument over and over and over again, and it's just like, at the end of the day, that isn't a valid argument. You have to have real evidence that it was out of context, and she just kind of fails to deliver that. Most of the video, she kind of just focuses on the little accusations. She talks about the harassment she got, which I get it. Yes, that is very, very bad. Do not want that to continue. That is not good. But at the end of the day, she spends little of her response video actually explaining how these things were taken out of context, and she kind of fails at defending herself.
To contort and make them as scandalous as conceivably possible. And fourthly, I changed my profile picture because I felt like it. The last of these three were very mild decisions, but were still heavily weaponized against me.
Again, she spends little time actually explaining why she's in the wrong. I'm not going to go over every single accusation, but you can easily find her channel. Just look it up and you can see the video for yourself. Go through it, see what you think. But overall, the video just seems very, I know it's scripted. I mean, it's fine to script your videos, but it's just so scripted to the extent just the words she uses are very, very, very large. It almost feels like ChatGPT in a way. I don't know why, but maybe she just really likes to use big words. I know that's a dumb thing to focus on. It just kind of annoyed me the whole time she was using these huge, huge, huge words.
It's an absolute reflection of herself. Instead, editing is always collectively reduced to being something solely based within insecurity and disingenuousness.
And she may just have a really good vocab. I know I'm probably just brain rotted, but a lot of people did accuse her of ChatGPT, so I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a possibility she used it. I don't really know at the end of the day, though. Maybe we are all just brain rotted from the amount of AI we see on the daily. And I went to her page after this entire situation went down, and I guess she did get a few less hate comments. In her YouTube channel especially, for some reason, people kind of agreed with it. I see this happen. People get canceled. They make a response, even if it's kind of poorly made. I don't know if it's just me, but that's happened quite a few times, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes the opposite happens. They'll get a lot of backlash, but sometimes they'll make a really poor response, and everyone in the comments will be like, I don't normally like you, but now I like you because you made a really, really bad response, but I like it for some reason. I don't know, that just happens sometimes, but her TikTok, people still don't like her. She's still getting hate comments a lot, and I mean, I guess that's just kind of that. I feel bad, but once again, this hate is really, really cruel, but it didn't come from nowhere. The comments she made were really inappropriate and weird, and they were definitely not taken out of context. And since there's been a lot of negativity, I guess I'm going to go on to something kind of positive about her. I personally think that she's really, really pretty, and I feel like it's kind of cool that she's open about her insecurities so she doesn't trap other girls or make other girls feel like they're the only ones to feel this way. Because I know a lot of girls do edit their posts. They probably feel really guilty about it, but this way she's like, hey, I don't look this way naturally. I do a lot of editing too. It's okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's normal. It's natural. So while she has made a lot of comments and done some things that I really, really don't like and I find very problematic, that's something positive I'll say, because I feel like a video just negative is, I don't even know. I just want it to be positive, okay?
全然わかんないです。始めましょう。始めましょう。はい。
That element being when you look hard enough, or in other words, if you reach far enough into your line of sight.
Again, the you're assuming this or out of context argument is just so terrible and completely stupid that I can't get over she made this argument. That's how she defended against the L to the N arguments, is that people said if you look hard enough, you can see how this is portraying such a disturbing reality or such a disturbing thing. And no, it's not the whole like, oh, I can figure it out if I dig deep enough and if I look hard enough. No, it's like literally the song is representing it. The school uniform is inappropriate. Like, we're not just assuming this stuff. Like, she's literally just kind of gaslighting at this point. I was expecting some actual evidence against it, like, oh, this is a fake screenshot, blah, blah, blah. Nope, no denial on any of that, just simply saying, you guys assumed, you guys looked too deep. The music I was listening to had actual references towards that, you know what, towards doing that type of stuff. You guys are just assuming, you guys are looking too hard into it. I was just doing it for fun, guys. I wasn't thinking about it. You guys are all crazy. But you don't realize that because she literally talks about that way later into the video. She spends the first 10 minutes just talking about her situation, her harassment and stuff. And yes, once again, I get it. That is really, really bad. But at the end of the day, you actually need to explain why the things made against you are false, or apologize at least, instead of just arguing that people look too hard into it when there's literal evidence against you. Her entire response, to put it plainly, is just super condescending and super just, like, it's like she pulled it out of her butt last night. Like, she just made it up. She just came up with desperate attempts to defend herself because there really wasn't much to go against those arguments I went over, except that we took it out of context or we looked into it too deeply. Yes, imagine hating you for doing nothing. Like, you're innocent. You did absolutely nothing. And no disrespect to this girl. Like, I get it. You got a lot of hate and stuff. You got a ton of hate. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to acknowledge that some of the hate is criticism. It's not all just unwarranted harassment. Some of it is genuine criticism because a lot of the things you've done deserve criticism. Not people telling you to you know what, that's just hate. But people that genuinely criticize you and don't kiss every single thing you do, don't kiss your feet for every decision you make, that's criticism, not hate. And in her response, I shouldn't even call it an apology because she didn't really apologize at all. Okay, she didn't apologize at all. But in her response, she does talk about how her information was leaked, personal information, and that is really, really sad and disgusting. On the internet, that's happening more and more because the internet's just becoming more of a thing. I've said that a million times, but like, it is really, really sad that that type of stuff got leaked, and I feel bad for her in that situation. I get that that is very, very troubling, and that should never have happened. That is straight up just hate. That's beyond hate. That is horrible. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't give you an excuse to defend. Like, it's not an automatic thing to justify your actions. And I obviously don't support any of the things that were done to her to leak her information and stuff and put her mental health at such a serious risk. But what I'm saying is, it's like my dog getting run over by a truck and then me being like, it's okay that I sent those photos to children because my dog got run over. You know, it's two different things that you just simply can't use as a shield against criticism that is valid. While it isn't a morally correct strategy, it did work pretty effectively because the YouTube comments were kind of kissing her butt for no reason too. The entire response was just a big spit in the criticism face. Like, anyone who criticized her just getting spat in the face with that response video. But at the end of the day, people bought it. They bought it so much. They were like, you're so great. I may not like you, but you are really great and your responses are great and everything about you is great. That's basically to summarize her comment section. If there was AI to summarize it, that's what it would say. I don't like you normally, but this was amazing and you're a perfect person. Something I've seen people do a lot, and I've noticed is becoming more of a trend with influencers, is that they don't actually attack an argument made against them. They kind of go for something else. Like, you don't support this action I made that was really, really disgusting and weird? Well, I guess you support all that stuff that people said about me. I guess you support this thing I don't support. It's just like they don't actually attack the criticism. They go for something else, something that makes that person look bad because they can't actually attack the argument because they're in the wrong. It's basically like using labeling or something to make yourself invincible to criticism. It's something I just see being done. I know some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but the more chronically online people probably are forming an image of someone of some sort. I can't think of anyone specifically right now, but some of you probably have someone in mind. And it's so easy to deny it. Like, I didn't know, but like, you can't really deny the screenshots. Like, there's just, the evidence piling on her is overwhelming, and the out of context argument simply doesn't cover it all.
How are you gonna cosplay being intelligent and eloquent and all of that when you don't even have any self-awareness? I've been thinking about, like, what bugged me the most about Umichi's non-apology is the fact that she presents herself as this, like, intelligent, academic, English-speaking person.
I found a girl on TikTok who did a really good job kind of breaking down why her response was just really, really poorly made and just bad. She starts off by saying how she just is really condescending and tries to act like she's smarter than everyone, which is true. She is clearly trying to act like she's like way more intelligent than all of her viewers.
But then she's gonna make this video asking people to give their criticisms about her, even though they've been doing that. But again, she's trying to present herself as this like educated, eloquent person, but again doesn't have the self-awareness to be able to identify what people are so angry about.
Exactly. She basically skips over all the actual bad accusations and spends the majority of the video complaining about the threat she got, which once again, for the 100th time, because I know someone's going to take this out of context. Get it? Because anytime someone says one of the screenshots of the thing she says, which is terrible, is bad, it's probably just out of context and they're probably just digging too deep into it. But anyway, obviously those things were absolutely terrible, but it just doesn't act as a shield. It shouldn't be a shield for the things she said and done.
Make it make sense. And also the purpose of that video wasn't to gather the constructive criticism that she was asking for in that video. Judging from the comments that she would like in the comment section, she's basically just liking the comments that are kissing her.
For those who don't know, she made a video asking for criticism, basically making herself or trying to make herself look like an open for criticism person. She isn't, obviously. You can just see from her response. She doesn't actually care about hearing criticism. She just classifies it all as hate.
So that video was just there to affirm her belief that she didn't do anything wrong and that she doesn't have to apologize for anything, which is why she didn't make an apology video initially and just made that asking for constructive criticism video. And honestly, I think it's so silly the way she worded that whole video also. Like, girl, just get straight to the point. Not everything needs big words. Not everything needs flowery, complicated.
Yeah, I could be missing something, but it just felt really, really condescending. But I've seen this with a lot of influencers. People just want to be condescending because they got a lot of hate, they got a lot of mean stuff, and they're like, yeah, this is me spitting back at it. This is me fighting back.
Absolute reflection of herself. Instead, editing is always collectively reduced to being something solely based within insecurity and disingenuousness, because people cannot stand nor comprehend how others can just so easily reject that, do it on such a large scale for.
And it wouldn't really matter. Don't take this video as me attacking her style. Like, you can do whatever you want on TikTok as long as it's not something involving the younger group of people, if you know what I mean. But social media shouldn't be a way to shut yourself down. Express your insecurities, all that, and show like that you like to do this certain thing you like to do. There's a place on TikTok for every community that's not illegal, obviously, but every community of people that want to look at girls that want to dress like porcelain dolls, girls that want to cosplay as any character from any show. Like, there's a community for everyone, and that's something kind of sweet about TikTok. There are so many problems with social media, and I'm not a social media hater, obviously. I'd be a super big hypocrite if I was. Like, I love social media and what it's done for people, but something I really, really like about it is that it gives communities to people and gives people opportunities to express themselves in ways that you can't just normally go around dressed like a porcelain doll. But on TikTok, you can get likes, you can get love for it. Just like how I couldn't go to school and give a presentation on a TikToker who's canceled. Everyone would think I'm the weirdest person on earth. It's just like social media has a group for everyone, for every genre that's not, once again, illegal. But as the famous saying by someone I have no idea, some Roman dude or something goes, with great power comes great responsibility. When you have all these followers, when you have all these views, you have to be responsible. You can't just say this careless stuff. You can't post careless stuff. You have to be careful with what you do because a lot of eyes are on you. It's not like you're an account with one follower that no one will care about. And of course, it's probably stressful to like live up to their expectations and stuff. I mean, sometimes you just post random stuff, but like at the end of the day, I know it's probably stressful, and especially because a lot of people are hating on you, but at the end of the day, there's no excuse for what you did. And since you were unable to apologize and decide to deliver the most condescending response of all time, you deserve valid criticism. I have to be honest, in all my years, okay, I've only had this channel for like 2 years or 1 year or something, but in all the time I've made these videos and all the research I've done, she probably has one of the most condescending responses I've ever seen. I've never seen someone with such a stuck-up attitude make a response before. Like, genuinely, it is one of the worst things I've ever seen. YouTube Shorts or TikTokers try not to act condescending in response video challenge level literally impossible. She can't address anything. She doesn't address any arguments being thrown at her the entire video. She just is like, oh, you guys took it out of context. Oh, you guys look too deep into it. you don't actually defend yourself. I am not exaggerating. The first, 1/3 of the video is talking about her mental health and the harassment stuff. And I get it, that's bad, but you're making a response to allegations. That could be a separate video. That just isn't an excuse for the things you did. That isn't a shield. That should not act as oh, everything I did is okay because these things happened to me. And since you don't really have any evidence against the things, you still have a chance to apologize. I mean, we all make mistakes. Yours were kind of serious, but at the end of the day, if we didn't forgive any mistakes anyone made, I mean, where would we be in society? We wouldn't go anywhere. But you can't even apologize when there's literal evidence against you saying these nasty things. You're oh, you guys look too deep into it. You guys are just throwing all these evil things at me. And I'm gonna make it clear I hate her in absolutely no way, and she didn't deserve any of the things that happened to her. But once again, it should not be this excuse or this shield for the criticism, because there's valid criticism. Like the things I gave at the beginning, that's valid criticism. That is not hate. That is, hey, you said this, that's not really that cool. I don't hate you as a person, but the things you did are not cool. Her response was basically, you don't like apples, so you like oranges? It was that kind of thing. It was a mess. It was a complete mess, and I'm just saddened that she published that thinking that was an accomplishment, and even more saddened that the comments were eating it up. Social media is just such a strange place. It's just it could never happen in real life type things, and it's just very, very strange. I hope the harassment dies down for her. That did sound really rough. I hope her mental health gets better, but at the end of the day, she shouldn't be using that as a shield for the things she's done in the past. Girl, we did not get anything out of context. Stop saying that over and over again. Saying it a million times doesn't make it true. Your response is just really, really rough. Hope you improve in the future. And with that, the video is done. I don't think anyone's going to make it this far because it's a pretty long video, but I felt like talking for a while because I've been working at my stupid job, summer job all day, and I just want to talk. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, please donate to the GoFundMe, and bye.